behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Paul Mash TV. Paul Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a great interview coming up in just a moment. But before, as always, click that subscribe button and bell button below you there, and you'll always be notified of any new episodes coming your way. And leave a comment on the comments section if you like. We'd love to hear from you there. And if you want, check the description part and closing credits at the end of the show for contact info. And we'd love to hear from you, so stay tuned for that. From Waltham, Massachusetts today, for the third time on our show, we have Linda Marks. She's updating us on some things, and I know you want to stay tuned for that. And we'll get to that in a second, but first, it's the Caden Gordon Show commercial, so don't go away. We'll be right back right after this.
It is Caden from the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Check out my show at thecadengordonshow.com.
Okay, we're back, and with us from Waltham, Massachusetts for the third time on my show, we have Linda Marks with us. Thanks for coming back on the show, Linda.
Thanks for having me, Paul. And thanks for having Quinn, who's right here, who's 19, and Max, who's in my arms. He'll be 3 in May. He's still 2.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you back. Well, why don't you update us on some things that's happened since last time? It has been a few years, so.
Yeah. I have to go back in time, but I've been putting out albums, and they've all been doing really well on charts and awards. My most recent album, this is the 2025 album, is called The Silence of the Stars, and it actually won Best Folk Album with Closing International Music Magazine, or just the Closing International Awards. It has also won Global Music Award for lyrics and songwriting and album. Probably some other stuff, but I lose track. And it's on some major charts. It's been on the Roots Music Report folk and alternative folk charts. It's on an Americana chart. And one of the songs from the album is on the Radio Guitar One chart and has been for a while. So that's going on. And I've written all the songs for my 16th studio album, and I'm in the process of that being produced, working with Justine Blazer out of Nashville. And I was in Nashville a couple weeks ago where we tracked half of the songs on the album, and I'll be going back in a couple more weeks in May to do the vocals on all of the songs. So those are going on. And I'm also currently nominated in 9 categories for the 2025 International Singer-Songwriter Association Awards. This album is up for Best Album, and a song that I've given with you is up for Single of the Year. I'm doing lots of stuff with the Northeast Boston chapter of ISSA. We have a whole bunch of songwriter showcase series I've produced and put together. I play in them too. And we have monthly meetings, and we do some educational workshops. So that's a bunch of what I'm up to, as well as having cats sit on my lap.
Okay. Well, that's quite a bit. And have you had any chance to do any shows recently, or have you not had time for that? Or maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I sort of I mix that up. Like I'm trying to think what the most recent one is. First of all, I do a live stream every week. I'm in my 6th year. I can't believe it. It's called Songs from the Heart, Meditations for the Heart. It started in March of 2020, so we've entered year 6, and I do that on a Saturday or Sunday every week. So that's a given. I have been part of a songwriter showcase series at a place called Oaks Ames Memorial Hall in Easton, Massachusetts. It's a gorgeous Victorian era historical hall that has great acoustics. And I did one there at the end of March, and April 27th is another one of those. I also have an album release show for this album coming up at July at a major venue in the Boston area called The Burr. And I've got, a number of different songwriter kind of events, and I also help run an open mic in Boston once a month, and that will be this Saturday. So I sing, and I'm also going to be a featured artist. There's something called Cabaret Showcase at the venue called Club Cafe Boston. So in May, I'm going to be the featured artist for what they call Cabaret Showcase. So different kinds of things.
Okay. Well, I'm sure if you are going to be in the area and you want to check her out, you can go to her official website or Facebook
Yeah,
page.
my website is lindamarksmusic.com, and I actually finally put my my gigs up there. It's like with all the different things that happen, sometimes I forget, oh yeah, I should update my website, but my website now has my gigs that I have so far for the rest of the year up on the website with more to come. So
Okay. And you're on streaming as well, obviously, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. My streaming is on Facebook on my personal Linda Marks page. Unfortunately, Facebook's now decided it's getting rid of live streams. And that's really frustrating because I've got over 5 years of material and there's no way I can find them all to download, nor do I have space to download them all. So, they're only going to be up there for another maybe 90 days. And now when I do it, they delete it after 30 days. So now when I do my live stream, I try to download it to have a record of it. But it's sort of like having a kind of podcast when you do a live stream every week for over 5 years.
Hmm.
So if you have an interest in seeing the history of it, which I wish I could access, it's on Facebook for just another little bit, and then it will be sort of what I've done in the last month.
Hmm. Okay, but you are on Facebook and you have other social media sites as well, or is it just mostly
Oh
Facebook?
yeah. I on Facebook, besides my personal page, which is where I do the live stream, I have a Linda Marks Music professional page. I'm on Instagram and Twitter as LSMHEART, LSM Heart. I put a lot up on YouTube. That's my favorite platform. And LSM Heart is my YouTube channel. So those are the primary ones. I'm on LinkedIn under Linda Marks, and sometimes I throw some stuff up there. So
All right, well, check them out on all those sites. I know she would love to hear from you. And,
mhm.
why don't you tell us the name of the song and if there's a story behind it? I think you already did, but go ahead and tell.
There absolutely is a story behind it. The song is called Pain Changes Everything,
Mm.
and it's a social impact song. It just won an award as a social impact song and also for lyrics and music from the Global Music Awards very recently. And the context of the song is in early December. I know I was riveted when news came across the different media outlets that there'd been a shooting in Midtown Manhattan, and a masked gunman in a gray hoodie had shot the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, at like 6:40 in the morning. And because my side hustle is I'm a mind body psychotherapist with a specialty in trauma, it grabbed my attention because I was wondering what happened. I certainly hear from people all the time how the healthcare industry is broken and access to care has gotten really hard. I talk with other professionals on the caregiving side who are burnt out, and the industry. It's really an industry that focuses on making money off of illness and doesn't give care, even though many people who are healthcare providers went into it to give care. It's a very difficult industry. Insurance, drives the day. So the fact that that happened was really notable. And then 6 days later, when Luigi Mangione was found in Pennsylvania in a McDonald's, and identified as the potential killer, I was really interested in learning about his story and how could a very bright young man from, a family with resources potentially have done that. And what I found were two things. It was very hard to answer some of the questions I had because the media was only letting a certain amount of information out. But from what I could find, what was clear is that he'd lived with debilitating chronic unrelenting pain since he was very young. He got Lyme disease when he was a kid and had all kinds of symptoms, and people didn't understand it and didn't even believe him, so he was felt very invisible. And he was also born with what I think is a congenital spinal curvature, where besides a major scoliosis, some of the discs were popping out and he had a lot of pain. And eventually, after trying surfing in Hawaii and being in so much pain he couldn't get out of bed for a week, he eventually had a surgery that put 4 steel screws into his spine. That's a pretty grotesque thing to have to do. So, I really feel like the combination of all the different things really pushed him to the breaking point. And, sometimes when people feel powerless, what they end up doing when they break is things that are rather dramatic. So what saddened me when this whole thing happened is how the story became sensationalized and a political football. And that's heartbreaking because there's actually a mental health crisis story here, and that's totally under the radar. And so I wanted to write a song from that angle. And the song Pain Changes Everything is about Luigi's story of how living with really debilitating, unrelenting, life altering pain does to you, and how that can break a person to the point they might do something that they can't imagine doing any other way.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a great song, and I enjoy listening to it. You guys are out there are gonna love it too. And
Yeah, it was produced by Justine Blazer in Nashville, who's fantastic.
okay. All right. Well, we'll get to that in a second, though. But Linda, thank you again for coming back on the show. You're always welcome back. So just get in touch if you want to come back, and we'll have you back on again sometime.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the support you give to so many independent artists.
Well, I thank you for that. You made my day, Linda, and I hear that all the time, and I'm just so happy that people love the show.
Thank you.
And let's go right to it. Pain Changes Everything by Linda Marks. It begins right now.
You don't really know me, though the headlines shout my name. Nobody knew me before that fateful day. I was born into a family that earned their silver spoon, had money, privilege, went to the finest schools, but my body is a prison. Steel screws pierce my spine, clouded thinking, brain fog, the effects of childhood Lyme. Pain changes everything. Could no longer be silent, confronted with the facts. Healthcare is harming. It's time for me to act. I know he was the father, a husband and a son, but that was not my focus when I shot him with my gun. Pain changes everything. Am I a criminal or martyr, a victim or lost soul, folk hero, freedom fighter? Did pain obscure my goal? Pain changes everything. Pain changes everything. Is my moral compass broken, or just crooked like my spine? Cold-blooded murder is a life-destroying crime. Technology's a cancer, a hungry, heartless foe. Profit before people, corporate greed out of control. I am fighting for humanity, agency that's bold. Homemade gun, bullet casings, with a story to be told. Delay, deny, depose. Am I a criminal or martyr, a knows everything. Can time change anything?